Because strengthening tightens up your muscle, this is the topic that we're going to talk about today. Let's go! Hi, I'm Melanie the physio, also the co-founder of Capital Physiotherapy here in Australia. Now, over the past few weeks, it's almost like a deja vu. I'm having clients after client coming in to tell me exactly about this topic. I'm also getting comments from viewers asking me questions that whether strengthening their muscle would make their tight muscle even tighter. So today, I feel like it's very important that first of all, we smash that like and subscribe button right now and then discuss about this topic. As contradicting as it sounds, strengthening doesn't actually make your muscle tighter or stiffer. In fact, some strengthening actually even increase your stretch tolerance or increase the flexibility of the muscle, and that's what we call eccentric strengthening. Now, eccentric strengthening is when you contract the muscle while it's getting longer. So that means, for example, if you're doing your bicep, this is your bicep, this is shortening your bicep, and as you slowly lower down, as you're slowly stretching the muscle while you're still controlling it, rather than just dropping it down, that kind of exercise is what we call eccentric strengthening. Is when you're activating the muscle to slowly and in a controlled way lengthening them. That's why we always tell people when we're doing strengthening is that you go up quickly is fine, but then you slowly release them. That is actually to promote exactly what we call the eccentric strengthening. While stretching might give short-term benefit, strong evidence have shown that eccentric training can increase the length of our muscle fiber, improve the joint range of motion, improve our muscle strength, and at the same time reduce injury risk at the same time. So eccentric training is quite beneficial for our body. If you're just stretching your muscles and not really strengthening it, it actually makes them quite prone to injury because you would have all this flexibility with no control at all while you're moving them. If you're constantly feeling that your muscle is tight, even though you've been stretching them for a while and they're still tight, that might be what we call neurological tightness. It's where your brain perceives that tightness of that muscle, but it's mainly because it is weak to begin with. When our muscle is weak, they don't work as efficiently, so they don't fire on as efficiently as well. Therefore, it creates this sort of positive loop of feedback of tightening sensation, not because it's actually tight, but it's because the muscle is being inefficient. Like say for example, if you're picking up a ball. If picking up a ball only requires about 40% of your muscle fiber, but if that particular muscle is not very strong and they're not working very effectively, they might fire on 50% or 60% of that muscle fiber just to do the exact same movement. And if they constantly do that throughout the day or while you're working out, just because they're not being very efficient with their movement, that is what creates that tightness and that stiffness sensation. Therefore, if you strengthen up that muscles and make that muscle stronger and more efficient in how they're being activated, that will in turn improve the efficiency of your overall movement and the fluidity of your movement, and hence reduce the perceived or the sensation of tightness and stiffness that comes when they're weak. So through this video, I hope to debunk some myth that's going around in our social media society, or some belief that people might have that if their muscle is constantly tight or constantly stiff, they're afraid of doing strengthening because they have this thinking that it's going to make it worse. I want to encourage people after watching this video to actually try to strengthen those muscles instead and get them stronger, and see if that would actually reduce that sensation that they're feeling of tightness and stiffness. Through this video, I also hope to let people be aware that soreness doesn't always is an indicator that you need to stretch that muscles. So a lot of my runners, they come in and they have soreness after they're running, and all they will do, or the first thing they will do, is stretch out that muscles. Sometimes soreness doesn't always indicate the fact that you need to stretch out that muscles. In fact, if the muscle is already torn or if the muscle is overstretched, stretching them sometimes may not be the best idea. So just because you have soreness somewhere, don't always just conclude it to the fact that you need to stretch that muscle. Sometimes strengthening it will give you more benefits than actually stretching them. If you're constantly experiencing tight calf or constantly experiencing tight hamstring, then I highly recommend you check out these two videos after this. Now, I'm not saying that stretching is completely useless and there's no benefit of it, because if you are someone who never stretched in your entire life, then you probably do need stretches or some dry needling or some massage to help loosen those muscles. Because our muscle work best when they're at their mid-range. This means that the muscle is at the most efficient and the strongest in the middle of their range. So say for example, these muscles can stretch out from this distance to this distance, where it's completely closed and shortened, and when it's completely stretched out and lengthened. Now, they won't be the strongest right at the end of where the whole muscle is being lengthened. This range wouldn't be very strong. Neither will the muscle be very strong when they're all the way shortened right at the end of their closed range. This area wouldn't be their strongest either. The muscle will be the strongest when they're in the middle of their muscle range. This is where you can exert the most power for that particular muscles. So, if you think about it, if you have short muscles, that means your entire range is to begin with quite limited. So the middle of the range wouldn't be very much at all. So if you start stretching out that muscle and loosen up that muscle, and the whole entire range of that muscles significantly improved, that means the range of your mid-range maximum capacity range would improve as well. So the ideal situation or training routine should really combine stretches and strengthening at the same time to maximize the benefit and reduce your sensation of tightness and stiffness. I upload video here on a weekly basis on health and fitness related topic as well as injury rehab topic. Once again, I'm Melanie and I will see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe, happy and healthy. See ya!